Namaste, everyone. My name is Jill M. Jackson. I am a psychic channel. If you are just finding my channel for the first time, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button below. I have been up all night, so uh, excuse the um, eyes that look swollen and puffy. I have been shedding tears, tears for so many different reasons. Disappointment in the choices of some of those in the United States. But I wanted to come on today and offer my predictions on what's going on. So this has been an interesting dichotomy. In October, I was shown that, and if you go back and listen to my predictions, I was shown that Trump would end up stealing the presidency in some way. I did misread that because I thought it would be through a series of legal, and that still may be coming. So, and then I saw something happening to him and JD Vance uh, becoming the president, and that was a timeline that had anchored really strongly in for me. During the latter part of October, something shifted for me, and I felt a stronger hold with the divine feminine. And I had a dream, and it was one of my very prophetic dreams. I'm not somebody that dreams a lot, so when I do dream, they're pretty accurate, or I can at least pay attention to the energy around it. And in the dream, I was in the Oval Office with Madam President Harris. Okay. And in a dream the next night, I was shown a map, and Texas had gone blue. Um, and then I was shown some other parts on the map too, that a couple of other states, I was shown Florida, and I couldn't decide if it was Georgia or North Carolina, but one of those had turned blue. So that was my prediction for November, but I still predicted chaos around this election. I want to explain about consciousness and timelines, but and I'll do that in a minute. But what I want to say is my guides told me this morning that there is fraud connected to the not only the voter turnout, but the votes that were cast. So the analytics don't resonate for me. I Former President Trump had won less votes in 2020 as he had in 2016. So, in other words, his popularity in 2016 was here. And then in 2020, it was substantially lower, not by a little bit. And they were even, pundits were looking at that last night like, okay, Biden took this before and Obama took this. So they look at those percentages, and normally they're pretty close. From 2016 to 2020, the popularity of Trump went from here to here. So you cannot tell me whether I'm a psychic or not a psychic that in 2024, with everything that he's admitted to doing, that his popularity went from here to here to here. No, that did not happen. Do I believe that almost half of our country voted for a rapist, pedophile, felon? Yes, I'm not disputing that. That's what my tears are shedding for. But do I believe that it was as many as they are claiming in blue areas, in areas that have always gone blue, not sometimes, always? So I was shown psychically that, and I'm gonna have to be careful. I don't want to get the video banned. ELON. used some of his technology. And then Keter, and then his last name starts with a T. He's the one that owns Vance. He used his technology to influence it somehow. Do I feel that truth will prevail? Do I feel that the truth will come out? I honestly do. And I have this kind of hope in humanity, and I have this kind of hope in the collective consciousness. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with my work as a psychic, I have won Psychic of the Year 2 different years. My readings are booked up through going into March of 2025. My accuracy rate on world predictions hovers between 90 and 95%. Have I been wrong? Yes. No psychics are infallible. Was I wrong about the 2016 election? Yes. I predicted Hillary to win that election. That was one of the misses that skewed my overall percentage of accuracy. Did I claim fraud like I'm doing now? No, I did not. No, I cried for weeks that this is where we were as a collective. And side note, I know personal people in my life that know Trump and who have been his victims. So please don't come on my show and start telling me that I don't know and I haven't done the research and I haven't gone down the rabbit hole and I haven't read this conspiracy theory and that one. Not only am I extremely gifted in reading auras, and I train other psychics to read auras, and I can read his aura, and it's gray, and he has some of the same auric energy as Slittler. Okay, in fact, I'm going to go on record right now and say it's worse. Yes, I said it. It's worse. Now, in going back to 2016, I just admitted that I was wrong on that and I moved on with my life. I cried personally. That's not what's going on here. All right, I'm saying this psychically, that there is something here that is not legal that happened with this vote. I am holding off on the hope in humanity that the light will illuminate the dark of what happened here. I also am a firm believer that it is the reason that Joe Rogan switched his loyalty, or whatever you want to call it, the very day before when Elon spoke to him. My feeling is he told him, hey, you want to get on board with this. You want to be part of this because it's going to happen. We know what we're doing. You want to be on the winning side. So that's why Joe Rogan sold out as well. There is an energy right now of corruption on so many levels. And part of what we're going to witness is the divine feminine energy is still being anchored in. Y'all, don't give up. Do not give up. Please join me in holding energy in unity consciousness in a paradigm where we do not have a convicted felon, 34 counts, by an independent jury, mind you. Over 30 women, some of them I know, well, no, I'm sorry, let me say that. I know others that have not come forward. I do not know the ones who have come forward, 30 of them, some going back to 13 years old. I do know people who witnessed that with their own eyes, okay? And I also know people who have been victims of financial fraud from him. multiple people, not one, not two, multiple. So anybody that is at a frequency, a resonance frequency, where you say, I'm okay with that person being the leader of the free world, knowing he grabs women when he wants to. That's called sexual assault. Anybody else, if your sons, if your husbands, if your fathers grabbed women in that way, they would be arrested, right? So what has happened to the cognitive dissonance? What has happened to, I'll tell you what's happened. It's conspiracy theories that have gone so unbelievably far down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, where over time it affects the wiring of the brain and trains the brain to recognize that this behavior is okay. You know, as long as the price of bread is less, which, by the way, my other prediction is if he gets sworn in, the price of bread and everything else will skyrocket. Your taxes will skyrocket if you make less than $250,000 a year. Your taxes will go up. Your healthcare costs will go up. So I'm not going to make predictions for 2025 just now because there's two timelines. And in 2019, my guides taught me about the trains. And I now realize that this is the point of the trains, not 3D and 5D. The trains are, if you are okay with a man who sexually assaults women and children, you're going to be on this train. And if you're not okay with that, even if you're not okay with the other policies of the other person, then you're on the other train. And we're coming to a place, there's only two trains. So many relationships are sadly going to continue deteriorating by free will choices. And many of us are grieving that reality. Okay. But there's two timelines that we, as a collective in the United States, have an opportunity to usher in. We have timeline one, which is the timeline that this corruption is not uncovered. And Trump is sworn in on January 20th. And he becomes a fascist dictator on day one, just like he told everybody that he would. It should not come as any surprise because he said that's what he wanted. So that's timeline one. On that timeline, I don't see his life force energy with us much longer into 2025. And in that timeline, I do see Vance and Project 2025, who, by the way, was part of writing it, and Trump spoke at the board meeting in 2020. So you can look all that up and and listen to him. Don't believe your Fox News. Don't believe some of your crazy alternative media that says, or him out of his mouth that says he's never heard of it. Uh, he has, and JD Vance was hand chosen for that by the Christian nationalist. So that's timeline one. And I'm personally not on that timeline. And if by any chance it seeps in, I will not be part of this country moving forward, because that's not the new earth. That's not the new earth paradigm where women are looked at in a different way than men are. That's not the new earth. So timeline 2 is the timeline where justice prevails, the divine feminine consciousness. Again, whether you fully agree with the policies, and I just have to say this too. All of you who claim to be Jesus loving Christians who are not okay with feeding the poor and not okay in opening our arms to immigrants seeking asylum and immigrants trying to flee dictators and trying to find a place to feed their children. Jesus taught us that. I don't believe in organized religion any longer, but I do believe in the teachings of Jesus. And the Jesus I follow opens his arms to help those less fortunate. So that's the timeline that I am focused on, a timeline of the shift in divine feminine and anchoring that energy in. It was just the part of that evolution. It was part of that. So I humbly invite you, if you resonate with that timeline, to join me in anchoring in unity, divine feminine. And by the way, the good thing about having your own YouTube channel is when people write really, really shitty comments, I get to delete them. So please don't waste your breath. Please don't waste your life force energy trying to tell a psychic that Kamala was at P. Diddy's parties. Please don't. That's been whatever you call it, rebuked, or that's not true. Didn't happen. Please don't do that. I will delete it. If you don't resonate with what I'm saying, Goddess bless you, please. I know this is such a free country right now. In the timeline we're in right now, we are still in a free country. So you can listen or you can choose not to listen, and you can go to the next channel that you do resonate with. That's the beauty. That's the energy that we're in. We will find those that we are in resonance frequency with, and we will join together. And by joining our collective energies together, we anchor in that timeline that we are resonating with for ourselves and our children and our beautiful mother Gaia. A timeline where all benefit, not just billionaires, not just the elite. So please don't give up hope. If you are in the millions of people who did courageously cast your vote for the first female president, then join me. Join me in continuing to create a timeline of unity in divine feminine. And if you resonate with the other, I wish you so many blessings. I truly do. We're just going to be in two paradigms. The frequency doesn't match, and that's okay. It's truly okay. I will bring my December 1st predictions unless I get more. Go over and check me out on TikTok as well. Jill M. Jackson Books is my name there. I'm not great with technology. I've been trying to change the name, but sometimes I give quick updates, much quicker updates on TikTok and on Facebook as well. Psychic Medium Jill M. Jackson. I wish you peace. I wish you love. And I wish that we are in a world where we see each other not through the lens of racism or misogyny or ethnicity, but as humanity. That's what I wish. And by the way, I am so very proud of Vice President Harris for doing the right thing, not because it's what I agree with psychically, but doing the right thing and calling, I can't even say his name anymore. I will not, but calling him and conceding. That's called class, and that's called somebody who believes in democracy, which we didn't have that before. We had January 6th difference. You see the difference in the energy here? Can you see it? Much love. Until next time, namaste.